Hey everybody, welcome to part 5 of Designing a Simple Garden. So now we are going to talk about the Freeform Polygon Builder tool. In the previous video, we talked about how to create simple shapes from the Shapes menu, but today we're going to be talking about the Freeform Polygon. So I'm going to click that to get started. I've just made my project area a little bit bigger to give us some more room to play with. So the Freeform Polygon Builder it works like a standard, polygon builder tool where each dot that you add adds another line segment to your overall polygon. So here you can see I'm just pressing dots, and every time I add a dot, a new line segment is added at that point. It's going to, by default, try to snap to one of these points on the grid. But if you need more control than that, you can always hold your command or control key, and then that kind of gives you that more flexible a range of where you can put the dots. So I'm going to put this one just like in the center here. And it's still going to try and snap back to common points. And then, yeah, okay, so this is our polygon shape. Again, it should be as easy as just connecting the dots. But if we wanted to add a shape with curves or do something a little more funky, we can do that now. It does take a little getting used to. So I want to make sure we have enough, time to go over all of it. So let's say I wanted to make just like a curved border garden. I'm going to start the same way where I'm just connecting dots on the straight sides. And then let's say I want this to kind of like curve in here and then out here and then go over there. I'm going to imagine where the first curve will end. So this first curve that's going to go kind of like this, like that little C shape, which is around, let's put the grid back on, around here. And I'm going to press and hold to create that curve shape. And as I'm pressing and holding, if I'm making curves, I'm nearly always holding the control or the command key, because if you don't, then the curve will try to snap. And if you really want those like smooth, junctions, then usually most of the time it's helpful to have that control key on so you can make the curves exactly how you want them. So there's one. The next curve is going to go kind of down and be the inverse of that C. And let's say it ends maybe here. Press and hold, drag, looking good. And then the last one, I'm just going to connect back to our starting point, press and hold, and now we kind of have that like swoopy border shape. So there's that. But if we wanted to do, let's get rid of this one for now. If we wanted to do something a little more complex with curves, we can do that. This will probably be a good example of how to create the shape and then edit it after the fact by using that edit points feature. So we're going to try to we just got rid of that like teardrop pool, but we're going to make it kind of like a little more decorative of a teardrop pool with like a little curvy end to it. So the first curve, remember, we always want to break the shape up into individual little C curves and then place a point at each one and try to just draw curves at each little junction. So here's our first one. Oh, my mouse is sticky today. I'm going to press and hold that. Great. And then the next one is going to have a big round body, and then it's going to come up and meet back there. Oh, did it again. Sticky mouse. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. All right. Now we're down here. We're going to press and hold. And again, some of this we're going to edit after the fact. We're going to come down here. Great. Maybe another one over here. It's taking shape a little bit. Now, let's do that. And then a little one here. And I'm just breaking the shape up into just the smallest possible little curve increments. So that's our general shape. And you can see it's like kind of bumpy in a lot of places. Here we have the rough shape. We're going to click this edit button and edit points. And here we can start to kind of like fine tune how we want it to look. So let's bring this back. We have 2 points here. We can probably get rid of the one and then edit this a little bit. maybe we can click this point and drag it down. I don't even know if we need this one. So you can always click a point to bring up that red X button, and then clicking that red X will get rid of it. And then these blue dots are what you can press and hold to change the magnitude of the curve. So here we have over here, I'm going to drag this one out just because I want it to be a little bit of a fuller, rounder teardrop shape. So let's do that. This one can probably budge over a little bit. Let's see how we're doing. It's looking better. We still have like some sharp little corners that we can continue tweaking. So let's go back to this. Let's bring this one in a little bit. And then let's see, this could probably come over here. We're going to change the angle of this one. And it's looking pretty good. All right, how'd we do? Not bad. Still a little pointy down here. So you can keep kind of like going back to that edit points and keep tweaking. So the more I drag this down, the smoother that little curved area is going to be. You can see like the little before after there. If you need more control, you can always tap to add an additional point. So you tap on the line and it'll give you kind of like an extra point. It defaults to, halfway between the curves. So if I wanted to, drag this down a little bit and then kind of create this as like the halfway point, I can set this curve up a little more to round itself on both sides of that vertex that we added. So let's do that. Yeah, it's a lot smoother there. Now we kind of have this like little swoopy teardrop instead of just the out of the box, regular teardrop that doesn't have any extra flair. So yeah, that's kind of an example of how you can use the polygon builder with that control key on to press and hold to make those curves. Let's do one more shape just to kind of, show another example of how this could work. Something else that might be useful here is if you, let's say you wanted to make this teardrop shape, but you wanted to make sure that each of these key distances were a specific size, like so that this point here, you wanted to make sure that from here to here was, exactly 6 feet apart. You can always start by adding lines. So if you know that you have like a 5 foot diameter somewhere on this teardrop, you can always start by adding a line and then placing it. Oh, wow, look at that. It worked out really well. You can place that kind of on the canvas. So, and let's say this was another one that you really wanted to track. You can place these lines at certain points on the canvas so that as you're using the polygon builder, the Freeform polygon builder, you can be sure to make sure, you can be sure that all of your key vertices line up as you need them to be. So if I start there, let's come back here. And I'm just going to do this really quick because we've learned how to edit points after the fact. Let's do that. Now you got kind of like the rough shape that is guaranteed to be, this distance apart. So yeah, let's do one more example. That's one way, using lines is definitely one way that you can make sure that your shape is being built to a specific size. Another thing that I've done in the past that I think is really helpful is if you have a reference image or you just want to draw a shape on paper, like I think I can do this live. Let's do some sort of like a swoopy diamond. I wonder if I can, how fast I can do this. Take a picture. All right. This garden is gardens. We are at 104.74. I'm going to upload this picture that I just drew on a piece of paper as a background image. And then I'm going to scale it. and say from this point to this point is, let's say, I don't know, 6 feet. Well, we just did 6. We'll do 4 feet. 4 feet apart, add it. Great. I'm going to refresh this page so that it has it. All right, so here's my reference drawing that I just made super duper quick. You can take your ruler to just confirm that, you know, the points that I sloppily added are roughly 4 feet apart. And yep, there you go. So now we can get rid of that. Let's try to make this shape with our Freeform polygon builder. So I'm going to click this, and I am, you know, holding that Control/Command key to make sure that I'm placing them exactly where I want. I'm going to put that here. I'm going to put the second point here because that's the end of the curve. It's just an inverted curve. And then I'm going to click and drag. Great. And then this one comes all the way down to here. Great. And then this one, it's not a very level drawing, but let's just say I wanted to do it exactly to the T. I can press and hold there, and then I can press and hold here for the final one. And then I have that shape that, you know, the shape itself that I drew isn't exactly symmetrical, but I can overlay, you know, exactly like that if I need to. Another thing that's worth calling out is that after you make a shape, let's say you make a shape and it's, you know, it looks exactly how you want, but the size of it isn't exactly how you want, you can use this resize. And then as you're resizing, you can, you know, click and drag to make it bigger or smaller. So now I just, and when I'm doing that, I'm holding shift to make sure that everything stays proportional, so that it's, you know, it's being resized with all of the same ratios. So now when let's see how big it is. Let's see how much bigger I made it. Now about, all right, 5.25 feet across. So yeah, that's just another way that sometimes it's helpful if you have like a really complex shape where you can start with something like an image and then upload it and use that kind of as your reference image. And then when you're done with it, you can just delete the image. So yeah, that's probably a good place to stop for now. Just some extra info and a little how-to for how to use the Freeform polygon builder, especially with curves.